and welcome back. Today we're going to go over the 5.3b lesson, which is more problem solving. Concept's going to be the same. We're still using part-to-whole relationships, so having a calculator out will be really helpful. So first thing we're going to do is read the problem. So it says a survey reveals that 252 out of 350 students in 7th grade like to read. And so the reading part is going to be the part, and the students in 7th grade is going to be the whole. And we want to know what percent like to read. So since we're looking for a percent, we're going to let x equal the percent who like to read. For our word ratio, we're going to have our read to total 7th graders. And then we are going to start setting up our proportion. So we have 252 out of 350. And then we want to know the percent. So percent is a part over 100. So when we multiply, we've got 350x equals 252 times 100. When we do that, we are going to get 252 and then 00. So we're looking at 25,200. You don't need to have the comma there. It's okay to leave it off. Just make sure you're careful with the zeros. And then if we divide by 350, we are going to get roughly 72%. So when we state that as an answer, we want to make sure that we have the percent sign with us. So 72% of 7th graders like to read. Okay, so moving on to number 2. It says you're taking a math test and you get 32 problems correct on the test. Your grade is an 80%. So as soon as we see the percent sign, we know that this means 80 out of 100. So if that helps you to write that in there so you know where the 80 goes, that's something that would be helpful. And so it wants to know how many problems are on the test. So what we're looking for is the whole. So we're looking at total problems on test. And so what we're comparing to the total problems is the number of correct ones. So for our word ratio, we're going to have correct to total. And then notice as soon as I do the word ratio, then I immediately start to set up my proportion, and then I go back to fill in the numbers. So it says you got 32 problems correct, so we want to make sure that the 32 is in line with where we have correct. And then we don't know how many total questions are. It's what we're looking for, so the X goes on the bottom. And then as the reminder cue, we have the 80 over 100, so we could just put immediately 80 over 100. And then we can go ahead and start to cross multiply. So we've got 80 times X, and then 32 times 100. So 32 times 100 is 3,200. And if we divide by 80, we are going to get 40. So that means that there are 40 problems on the math test. Don't worry, I'm never going to give you a test that has 40 questions on it. Okay, so if you're feeling kind of confident and you want to try number 3, it'd be a good time to pause, and then you can look to see if you got the answer correct. So we're looking at 3, 2, 1, and pause. For those of you that weren't quite ready to pause yet, that's okay. So it says that Tony bought a CD on sale for $3 off the original price of 15. So 15 is going to be the whole, and $3 off is going to be the amount of discount. And so we want to know what percent that is. So what percent was the CD discounted? So for our let statement, we're going to have let X equal the percent CD was discounted. So for the word ratio, personally, I think the easiest thing to do would be to use discount to original, because those are words that you see in the actual problem. And then again, we start filling it in. So $3 off, that is our discount. It says the original price was 15, and we want to know what that is out of 100. And you're going to go ahead and cross multiply. And so we're going to get x equals 20. So that means that the CD was marked down 20%. Or you can say the CD was discounted if you like that better. Okay. So turning the page, it's just more of the same. So we're just going to keep working our way through the problems. This one has decimals in it, so we have to be kind of careful. Number 4 is definitely a harder question than the rest of them. So it says that Serena bought a CD for $10.50. So that's how much she actually paid. It says the CD was originally $15, and it wants to know what percent she saved. But $10.50 is not what she saved. In order to figure out what she saved off to the side, you need to subtract 10, 50 from 15. And so if you do that, you're going to get $4.50, and that's the amount of money that she saved. So we're going to look at letting x equal the percent saved. And we're going to have saved to original. And so we're going to have the $4.50 over the 15, and then the x over the 100. So this one's definitely harder than the other ones we've been doing. Most of the ones you're going to do are going to look like the other ones, but these ones are still important also. So if we multiply that by 100, we're going to get 15x equals 450. And if we divide by 15, we are going to get x is 30. So that means that Serena saved 30%. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, so keeping with that thought process, we're going to jump down to actually number 6, because 6 is very similar to this. So it says that Brad bought a scarf for a sale price of $22.50. So that means that that's how much he paid. The original price was $30. And so we want to know again, what percent did he save? So before we figure out the percent that he saved, we also need to know how much he saved. So if we subtract the 30 and the 22.50 and you put that into your calculator, you're going to get $7.50. So that's the amount that he saved. And that's the number we're going to need to use as the part when we need to do part to whole to figure out the percent. So we're going to have the saved over the original. And we've got $7.50 over the original of 30. And then we have the x over 100. So the hard part is getting the setup and making sure that your words match. Once you're there, you guys will be totally fine. Because you like solving these. You're very good at them. So when we multiply 7.50 times 100, that's like moving it over twice, so you've got 750. And when you divide by 30, you're going to get a 25% discount. So this means that Brad saved 25% of the original price. So I wanted to make sure we did those back to back. Okay, and then we're going to scroll back up to number 5, because number 5 looks like one that you like. We're more comfortable with these ones. So you missed 8 questions on a science test worth 40 points. What percent did you answer correctly? So we want to know what percent you answered correctly. So missed means that you got those ones wrong. So we missed 8 questions, but it was a total of 40. So if you have a total of 40 and you missed 8, that means you got 32% correct. So we're going to let x equal the percent correct. And then for our word ratio, we'll have correct to total. And I know this is similar to 4 and 6, but 4 and 6, because they're both dealing with money, I wanted to make sure that we lump those together. So when we look at how many questions you got 32 questions correct. And then out of the 40, and then we're going to have it being x out of 100. So we are going to cross multiply. So we have 32 times 100, and that's going to give you 3,200. And when we divide by 40, we are going to get 80%. So that means that you answered 80% correctly. Okay, and that's a wrap for the 5.3b lesson. When you're doing your homework, number 4, no, actually, I think they all look like they did in the lesson. No, number 2 in the homework. So when you get to number 2 in the homework, that looks like questions 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 3, and 4 on the homework look like what you're used to, and it's number 2 that is a little bit tricky and looks like this page. So just a reminder that I have office hours at 9:45 Thursday morning, and again at 9:45 Tuesday morning in case you need help. I hope you have a great week.